Screaming Eagles fans, Shawn Liotta, the coach of the fans, bringing you inside the film room to get you ready to attack the Spokane Empire as you're making all the actual play calls next week in the Maverick Center. Want to just quickly congratulate you guys on the big win. You guys did a great job calling the game last week against the Colorado Crush. The big 2-point conversion in overtime to win the game. I was very impressed, but we got to put the work in. So let's get in the film room here. Let's take a look at Spokane. Spokane's an excellent football team. They mix their coverages up well. They have an excellent defensive backfield, really one of the strengths of their team. Let's take a look at some of the zone coverages they use. Now, when we're talking about zone coverages, we're going to typically be talking about a two-man shell, which means two high defenders over the top in deep coverage zones, coupled with three underneath defenders in the underneath zones. Typically, one is going to be a area outside defenders, and then they will have one defender in the middle of the field. So they're going to have three lower level, second level zone defenders with two guys over the top. Now you can take a look at how this coverage kind of reveals itself. We're going to watch a bunch of clips of this. You can see how the two high defenders over the top stay high over the top. There's a corner inverted down, and the strong safety inverts down into what you'd commonly call the curl flat area in outdoor football. We just refer to it as the area outside. But you can see right there a real good shot of two high defenders coupled with three underneath defenders. So this is a common cover two or cloud defense, it can be termed. Let's take a look at another variation of it. Just kind of reveals itself a little bit differently. You have the corner pressing the stationary receiver at the bottom of the screen. You can see the strong safety, again, invert into that area outside underneath that second level. So you can kind of see, again, it really reveals itself at the snap. It looks like there's three across up top there, but you can see it reveal. The strong safety comes down into the area outside. The other two defenders stay high over the top there. That is a two deep, three under coverage. Let's take another look at it, just so you can kind of get an idea. You can see the safety spinning back. You can see the area outside defenders working into their areas. And again, three deep, two underneath zone coverage. Let's take another look. Little different deal. Now here they're facing a trips alignment. Okay, so Spokane's going against a 3-by-0 or a trips alignment. And what happens here, it's the same type of coverage. They just bring the strong safety down to do what I term a splatter or a jam on the high motion man to try to reroute him. And their strong safety, you'll see Spokane's strong safety, he does an excellent job of rerouting receivers, jamming them, being very physical, and that forces the quarterback to have to hold the ball, and it alters the routes. But you could see in that instance, again, it was just a little different look. But again, even to trips, it was two high, three under zone. Take another look. This is a 2-by-1 set. We have two receivers on one side, one receiver on the back side. Now they're going to loop one in motion to go 2-by-1, and it just reveals itself again. Now this is a little different look because you'll see now both corners are the area outside or level 2 defenders, and they actually take the strong safety and he's spinned back deep on the hash. You can see him. You can see him back there on the pro hash, and he's going to start to backpedal and get out of there. And so they invert the corners up, and they put the strong safety and the free safety back high over the top in a two deep coverage look. Again, same coverage, nothing there has changed. Let's take a look at a 2-by-1. Similar deal. Now this is an interesting thing. I'll take a look at this. This is almost a three deep type deal. Prevent. This is a long yardage situation, but watch the defensive linemen drop off into underneath zones. They actually only rush one defender. So again, interesting look, something to be aware of. You can do that in the IFL. Let's take a look at Spokane's man coverages. Spokane is an excellent man-to-man team. They're physical underneath. They've got corners that can run, free safety that can run. They really can lock you down and do some things in man. But let's take a look at what makes man different than zone. Now they're going to try to disguise this look here. We're going to take a couple looks at this deal because they like to use this a lot. And it might reveal itself to be zone at the naked eye, but take a look again. As the high motion guy comes in motion, the strong safety is going to come down and try to jam and collision him. And then what the strong safety and the linebacker are going to do, they're going to use what's called a banjo technique on the running back. So whatever side that running back would release to, they would end up jumping them. And it looks like zone, but if you watch the defender over the top, it is actually man. It's kind of a loose man with this jam technique. Here's another look at it. Strong safety's down, he's jamming, and you can see the corner chase that receiver across the field, and the free safety cover the receiver who was breaking on that crossing route. Another look at it again. You can see it reveals itself to be man. So we get the jam. We're banjoing the running back with the two underneath defenders, and we're playing man over the top there. So it's a nice little disguise look. It's kind of a unique type coverage. It's something you have to have answers for to be able to beat it. Strong safety doesn't get a great jam on that. I think he wants to try to get a little better collision there to kind of hold that high motion guy. But it's a tough deal. Here's another look at it. Same thing. Strong safety's down, jamming, okay, but it's man. You can see that corner's chasing. It's the same type of look they got, just a little different area of the field, same coverage. Again, a key for you as a fan play caller to see that strong safety coming down, trying to jam that receiver. We're probably going to be looking at some sort of a loose man type deal over top with a banjo technique on that running back, meaning that strong safety and linebacker are just waiting to see what side he breaks to, and they're going to take coverage of him. Now here's a little different look. It's a trips formation, all right? And instead of the single splatter, you actually see what's a double splatter. So they're actually going to jam and collision both outside receivers, and they play a bracket zone over the top. So they're jamming those outside receivers, and you can see the safeties high on the hashes really kind of doubling that receiver as he works down the field. Now, defenses often change in the red zone. That is the case with Spokane. I mean, you're either going to see a matchup banjo type man deal where we're kind of passing guys off and jumping guys as they come into their zone. So basically it looks like a zone, but once a receiver enters there, it turns into man. Let's take a couple different looks at it. They're looping to trips. This is straight man. Okay, they're carrying the motion man over. That's a man look all the way. We'll take another look at it. Obviously, the snap gets bobbled, but you can see the positioning of the receivers. A key to identify this as man is watch as the receiver loops around the formation. Watch the corner leverage him and carry him all the way over into the inside of the stationary. So that reveals itself right there to be a man-to-man coverage. So they will play some man down there. You're going to see some of this matchup zone, I call it, but it really turns into a man deal down here just because there's not a lot of space. So really all zones kind of become a man. And there's an example of it there. There was pressure. They did bring a blitz, but you saw how they were able to just kind of picket fence that coverage, just set themselves up, and then when a guy came into their area, they ended up taking him for man. So there's an example there. A guy comes into the area, he ends up being taken. You got to be physical down here. Receivers, you got to rely on your receivers to make plays. They got to get open. But when you play that coverage, it can lead to a bust in coverage. Here's a good example here. Trying to run the same kind of coverage, the corner gets leveraged. The guy gets pinned inside that's on the little arrow route by the number 3 receiver, coming in this flash motion across the formation, and ends up being an easy touchdown. So again, get in the film room, study up, be ready to get that win this Monday night.